Hi, so here is a little refresher about numbers and when we get to increasingly bigger and bigger numbers, how do we write it? Or when we see a big number, how do we read it? So just to remind ourselves, we have the digits, which are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those digits make up any number to infinity and beyond. So you may remember from your school days that we had hundreds, tens, and units. And we start off with small children. If you've done my early start classes, we started off with numbers 1, 2, and 3. And very small single digit numbers. So let's put a 7. And there we go. We've got 7 units, or 7 ones, as they are sometimes called now. Then we move into the tens column. And if I were to put a 2-digit in there, we've now got 2 tens, 7 units. And we'd read that number as 27. And move into bigger numbers. And if I put a 4 in there, we've got 4 hundreds, 2 tens, and 7 units. And we would read that number as 427. Straightforward. But what happens when we get more and more and more and more digits? Okay, so remember, hundreds, tens, and units. That's what we need to bear in mind. And if I show you this board, I have written out already hundreds, tens, and units, hundreds, tens, and units, hundreds, tens, and units. So we start at this side. This is our hundreds, tens, and units that we've just been looking at here, our 3-digit numbers, hundreds, tens, and units. And then we've got hundreds, tens, and units again. But these hundreds, tens, and units are the thousands of hundreds, tens, and units. Can you see that? Next, we've got hundreds, tens, and units of millions. And then we've got hundreds, tens, and units of billions. Getting big now. Next comes hundreds, tens, and units of trillions. And next, I think we'd have hundreds, tens, and units of quadrillions. You're going to need Google to go any bigger than that because I can't remember. But anyway, if we start to put digits, so remember those digits are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the only digits and they make up any number. So I'm going to start throwing in some random digits into these columns. Let's have 3 in there, 4 in there, 5 in there, 7 in there. Let's put a 2 in there, a 1, a 9, a 4. That'll do. So can I just leave it like that? No. That digit 0 is really, really important, and it's known as a placeholder. So if I have no actual value in any of these columns, we need that placeholder 0. So I'm going to fill in all these spaces with a 0 to show that there's no value in those columns, but we still need to bear them in mind. We need them. So we have the 0, the placeholder. And I'm going to put the commas in. Those commas are so helpful for helping us to read bigger and bigger numbers. So now that we've got our commas in, let's have a look. In the trillions, we've got a 2 in the tens column and a 0 in the units. In the billions, we've got a 3 in the 100 column, 0 in the tens, and 1 in the units. In the millions, we've got nothing in the hundreds or the units, but we've got 4 in the tens. In the thousands, we've got a 9 in the hundreds, a 5 in the tens, and a 0 in the units. And then in our hundreds, tens, and units here, we've got a 4 in the hundreds, a 7 in the tens, and a 0 in the units. So how do we read this number? Well, we can all read hundreds, tens, and units. We can all read a 3-digit number, I think. So let's start here in our trillions. We've got 20 trillion, 301 billion, 40 million, 950,470. So to read that number a little bit more quickly, 20 trillion, 301 billion, 40 million, 950,470. Simples. I'm going to go away and possibly come back with some examples for you to try. See you again soon.